Well, we got a brand new White House petition hot off the presses. Make moonshining legal and free of tax and regulation. Okay? It's got one vote right now. We're going to get this thing moving. Make the distilling of moonshine for personal use as fuel and medicine or consumption free of all tax and regulatory requirement for the entire USA in amounts of 500 gallons per annum per person. It is generally unknown to the public that privately distilled ethanol was the preferred fuel up until the time of Prohibition. Although Prohibition was repealed, regulations and fees were still kept in place, and in 1933 a national gasoline tax was passed. Distilling spirits can be a major boon to true free enterprise, financial independence, and also contribute greatly to clean air since pure ethanol burns far cleaner than gasoline. So how's that? So anyway, we just want to get going here with this moonshining tradition again. I think our founding fathers were all on with this. I guess it's one of these things like the big money doesn't like it, just like they don't like hemp, right? And actually, if you just want to put a little bit of an oblique information out here, hemp, the growing of industrial hemp is actually far easier to do than corn, but hemp can provide ethanol like corn, except in 10 times the amount per acre, without using herbicides, pesticides, and all the other associated problems in cost with growing corn and producing ethanol from corn. You can produce 10 times as much from hemp. So, actually, diesel fuel was supposed to come from hemp oil, as developed by Rudolf Diesel. So, we can be running our cars on this. We can be using it for disinfectant purposes. We can be using it for medicine. Actually, one shot of moonshine correctly made per day is actually helpful for you. Too much is just like anything, it's a balance. A little bit of something is usually fine. If you overdo it, it's no good, of course, but it can be helpful for you. So it can also be used as a medicine. Now, also, you probably know from the Dukes of Hazzard, the cars are probably run on moonshine, including Roscoe P. Coltrane's sheriff car. And you probably all know about Boss Hogg. Now, we got to lend a hand over here to Mr. Boss Trump, too, because he's getting hammered by the deep state left and right. We already know. I don't want to get down that trail because YouTube's getting really funny about a lot of these videos. So I'm going to figure I'm going to put this one out. I had videos that were about cats, one about health, about heart healthy, and one videos about cars. And I went to the car show and they flagged them as unadvertiser friendly. I'm like, wow. They don't want you to say anything. I don't know what the heck's legal anymore on YouTube. So here we have Uncle Jesse and Boss Hogg giving a toast to some moonshine, some good moonshine. And moonshine can bring the nation together. All races, peoples, colors, creeds, you name it. No matter what part of the country you're from. And I'm really pro-USA. That's Undefeated Southerners of America. You remember what USA stands for, right? Undefeated Southerners of America. So anyway, this is the petition. It's out there. I'm going to post a link. We're going to try to get it out and, get the information out. I want people to share this a lot. Not too many people would do this. Only completely sane people like me would do this. Anyway, so make moonshining legal and free of tax and regulation. I'm talking about for the entire USA. The limit will be, my proposed limit will be for personal use in 500 gallons per annum per person. So if you got a family of 4, that's 2,000 gallons, okay? Anyway, we're going to try to get this out, and I want you people to share it. And, if anything, if Trump sees this, maybe he'll get a laugh out of it because I think he's getting a lot of pressure from a lot of angles. And maybe it'll wake up something. I know this, I know it's ludicrous to think that even though this actually is a good idea to do this, and there shouldn't be, before 1920, there was no regulations on this stuff, and there was no problems really throughout the United States. It was, and the Model T Fords were all running on this. This was the preferred fuel. Okay, it actually runs much cleaner. The oil stays cleaner in the engines, and I know you have to have a very, very high ethanol content, alcohol content to run fuel. But I don't want to get into all those technicalities. It can be done. You can actually even mix this with gasoline that you buy and you'll still have a high enough ethanol content whereby you can dilute, say, your moonshine with gasoline that you buy, and 50% of it can run your vehicles. And like, it has other uses too. But most people don't know the history of this, and there was absolutely no problems, really. I mean, if a person's a drunk, if a person's doing wrong things, there's nothing you could do to stop that. You look at what Prohibition did, and today they got drugs, right? So this is not going to be a problem for anybody, I don't think. So it's all a matter of personal choice what you do to your body, for crying out loud. I mean, there's not much you could stop a person from doing something wrong to their body. I think that's the only counter argument to this moonshining. And so anyway, I think let's try to get this out there. I know logically it should pass, but politically there's going to be a lot of, if it got the 100,000 signatures, I know what's going to happen. But even if it gets to 100,000, even if we get this far with this, it's going to wake some people up to, yeah, there's a lot of people that think this is a good idea. And maybe there'll be less restrictions in some way, something. So when you want to go to try to get 10 yards on the football field, you really want to go for the touchdown, right? So we're trying to go for the touchdown right off the bat. I know we're not going to get the touchdown, but maybe we can get 10 yards. Okay? Over and out.